Saturday, February 27th, as far as I remember, 2021. And this is Angel Ribo, the CEO confidant here in the US, Dallas, Texas, and also known in Latin America as the founder, co-founder, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation. We help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using their local resources. And I love to speak about Latin America because it's a geography that I carry in my heart. And for the second week, we have here, and we are co-conducting this amazing show called Reality Check on the Planet, Traveling Without Fear, Judy Machado. Hi, Judy, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. Hi, Angel. Thank you again for having me. So great to be here.
Absolutely. So great to be here. I remember, let me tell you something, a little story now that because the other day I didn't tell you. One of my, when I was a kid, even before I was a teenager, one of my favorite games, computer games, that I was playing on that old Apple IIc computer with the green screen was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I don't know if you've ever seen or remember that game. Okay, so it was a game in which you were giving so many hints about where Carmen Sandiego was, and you were going different levels, you know, as any other game. So it was, I loved that game because it was giving me a possibility to discover where Carmen was in every single moment in time, okay? So I don't know if we start the conversation today because Judy, besides being the, you know, the goddess of goddesses and the master of masters in the ceremony of related to cacao that we'll talk a little bit about later. Where in the world are you right now, and what time is it there?
Okay, I am in the beautiful country of Albania, which borders with Greece and across from Italy. And it is 6 p.m. right now.
Is it dark outside?
Yes, it's dark.
It's dark outside. Okay.
Yes, so it's dark. Sorry, it's 8 p.m. Oh my goodness, it's 8 p.m.
Already 8 p.m.
It's 8 p.m.
So it's
8 p.m. here.
in Texas.
It's dark
so
outside. I wish I could share with you what's going on outside my window, because the water's right out here, the sea.
Wow.
Greece, the island of Corfu is right across from us here in Albania, in this place called Saranda, which is a beautiful beach town in Albania. Albania is gorgeous. It's crazy. It's so beautiful. Everyone needs to come and visit Albania, especially right now.
Exactly. So why don't you share a little bit what you do, Judy, so people get to know a little bit more about what you do. What is your passion? What is your purpose in your life, Judy?
Oh my God. So I've been an entrepreneur pretty much most of my life, and more recently, cacao has come into my life. It's beautiful plant medicine. It's a drink, and it was from starting with two other partners, a bean to bar chocolate company, and learning about cacao, learning about ceremonial cacao, how the indigenous have been the caretakers of this beautiful plant medicine. It's a teacher plant medicine, a master plant medicine that's here to help us raise our consciousness, take us beyond the current level of consciousness that we're in right now, and see beyond the veil that's stopping us from stepping into that next level. And this beautiful cacao changed my life years ago, totally changed my life. I drink it every day, and I teach others how to drink this every day. Such a beautiful, beautiful gift to help you on your spiritual journey. And here I am now traveling the world with my cacao everywhere I go. We're going to do a little cacao blessing at the end as well. And yeah, so that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. So by the way, I was looking to the other side because I have actually 3 different monitors here, and we are live streaming live right now to how many? 13 different platforms. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was in the right place, and you know we could keep on having our conversation, because obviously we do this because of you. We don't do this because of us, but both of us, Judy being in Albania at 8 p.m. on a Saturday, and me being in Dallas at 1 p.m., having a family and everything. Obviously, we could be doing so many more things, but we started this program a couple of weeks ago because we want to show everybody what is really going, without filters, no filters, what's going on in the world, okay?
Yes.
So this is a place of where we would like you to see what's going on in the world. We are starting right now, or we started a couple of weeks ago, you know, going very deep into, you know, what Judy just explained really briefly. But the main purpose of our program, Reality Check on the Planet, is actually to bring people from all over the world so they can tell us how are things going in their country. I think that it has never been more necessary than today to have, again, I insist, without filters, people, like you and me, like you and Judy and me, like from the streets, normal people just coming on board, coming here to the Zoom call and explaining what's going in their country. How are things going? How is their life going? How is everything really, like, just their normal lives, share experiences and share things with us, because we want you to see what's happening in the world right now. Okay, so again, without filters. And we're gonna, again, we are inviting you, if you live in any other country outside, well, Judy, for Judy, home is Canada, but she's right now in Albania, as she said. I am originally from Spain, but I am in the US. So if you are not from any of those countries, please feel free to reach out to us, where we are posting right now, where we are live streaming right now. You will see like a copywriting. There will be some text with how to reach out to Judy and how to reach out to me. Feel free to send us an email, and we will involve you directly moving forward every single Saturday to have this conversation. So Albania, it's funny because Albania is, as you very well explained. So everybody, when you think about Italy, you see a boot, right? You see this wonderful boot, right? So if you think of Italy like with a heel at the bottom of the boot, across the heel, across the Adriatic Sea, right?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it is.
I just like geography a lot. So across the Adriatic Sea, there's Albania. Okay, so it's really, like, obviously, as you can see, she's wearing like, she has a sleeveless shirt or dress, right? So it's definitely much better temperature than here in Texas right now in February, right? But so what have you been doing in Albania, if I may ask?
Yeah, so Albania is the fourth of the many countries that we're visiting on this trip. And so in Albania, really what we're doing is we're just traveling around and exploring. And how it all started was my friend. So there I was in Toronto, everything's in lockdown. And I've been following my friend who's been traveling around for the past since before this whole thing sort of started, the whole COVID. And so what happened was I've been following her. She's traveling everywhere. And she said, you know what, Judy, come and hang out with me. Everything's great. There's so much going on here. Everything's open in these countries. I'm only visiting these countries that are open, that have very little, if any, restrictions at all. And so I decided to come out. I met her first in Tanzania. And I spent 3 weeks there. She was there for 6 weeks. So she was there before me. And that was incredible. And that story is amazing. And I actually created a whole YouTube video on that with the president of Tanzania and how, his beautiful story right now in terms of supporting the people and really holding strong and really wanting to make health the priority. Such a beautiful video, beautiful story. And then went to Serbia, went over to Belgrade, Serbia. And then, the story did another video there on YouTube about that and about how the people really, some of these ex-communist countries seem to be the ones who have the most freedom right now. It's interesting. It's almost like they know what it's like to lose their freedom. And it's so interesting because we're visiting the countries that have little, if any, restrictions. And it seems to be these ones. And these are the ones we're coming to. I mean, if it wasn't for them being open, I probably wouldn't be visiting these beautiful countries. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy that I would never have thought of coming to visit Albania, but Albania is gorgeous. The whole world needs to come and visit Albania. And it's off the coast. And so after Serbia, we went over to Montenegro. Oh my God, so beautiful, which is right above Albania. And we have since, that's incredible as well. And we've since, hired a driver and driven us all the way down the coast, down Albania into Tirana and then Saranda and all these beautiful places. And then we're thinking maybe Turkey or Costa Rica next or somewhere, one of these countries. We'll see what else also opens up, but there's definitely a list of many of them that are welcoming people and traveling. And when you get into the country, it's open, everything's open, and people are living like normal.
Exactly. People are living like normal. So,
Yes.
it's important for you to know. Okay, so like, again, this is a place of where we really want you to know all the things that are happening in the world. Okay, so we are not judging anybody. We are not judging, any situation anywhere. We're just telling you what's going on and what's happening. And again, the reason why I thought of, well, we met with Judy like many years ago on an event, with both entrepreneurs, and we both like to be a little bit ahead of our games, right? So we really want to be with the best of the best, and we were at that event, and then I think that we coincided also on an interview. I interviewed her with the rest of my team and everything. So when I saw what she was doing, I said, oh my God, that's exactly what the world needs right now. The world needs to know that, other things are happening. We might have some specific local concerns. It doesn't matter if it's the US with 350 million people, or if it's a small country with a few million people. It doesn't matter. I think it's important for you to know what's going on in the world. And let me actually reinforce an idea that you just mentioned, because obviously me as a European, being from Spain, I lived the disintegration of the former Yugoslavia. I lived it very personally, although I wasn't living in Europe at that time, but I lived it very personally because, as you probably remember, all of you, maybe the ones that were not that young at that point in time, that there was a war, and there were, many, was very violent. And actually, Kosovo, which is not far from where you are, was one of the most dramatically, how to say this, most violently like transition countries in the area or regions, right? So there's a lot of unfortunate stories around the areas that Judy is visiting, many. And I'm sure that besides the beauty, right, besides the beauty of the castles and the fortresses, I'm sure that you've also seen vestiges of what was for so many years.
Oh, yes.
The wars and wars and suffering, and people having to relocate and to, move from one place to leave their homes for a long time, for many years, to go to other places to be safe. Have you seen a lot of that?
Yes, I have. And we've done some tours, especially here in Albania. There's bunkers everywhere. I mean, this entire country, there's a whole underground. And these bunkers, I'm going to get a video for next time so that you can show it. But I'm trying to remember, I made a note. I think there's like 500,000 bunkers in this whole country. Let me just see, 350,000 bunkers.
My God.
Like they're everywhere. They're on the beach, some of them, like these like holes in the ground with this, like, looks like a hat, a metal hat. It's just crazy to think of the different life that existed here, not very long ago. And also, and you're right, in Kosovo and all these different countries in this area. And even part of the tour with here in Albania, we went to in Tirana, which is the main town, the main city. Behind this church is where they have all the old statues of the dictators, like all this crazy stuff. We went to look at it, and it was like, it's just so, the energy of it, and just thinking, oh my God, like this is crazy, and who they were sharing these people and what they did. And it's just, it's crazy to just think about. Here I come from, I was born in Portugal in the Azores, but when I was a kid, we moved to Canada and Toronto, and it was just like one of the freest countries in the world, it seemed. And you hear these stories and you think, wow, 92 was when they finally ended the communism here in Albania. I mean, that's not long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. I mean, I have lived twice in my life in communist countries. One was for a couple of months in Czechoslovakia. So when it was still one country, the Czech Republic and the Slovak Republic, so Slovakia was, and the other one, and the other one was in Cuba, and I lived in Cuba on and off for more than a year. Different systems, but at the end of the day, there's always a lot of commonalities, unfortunately, and the lack of freedom is one of them. But you get to know it and to understand the system very well. When sometimes we speak lightly about communism, and I think that everybody should visit at some point a communist country and talk to the citizens of those countries to really understand what it means. To really understand what it means living under the dictatorship of some communism regime. And again, I think that for sure there was something. There were good things and bad things. Even myself, when I was born in Spain. We had a dictatorship. Actually, also Portugal has a very interesting history, excuse me, also as well from a political standpoint. So, but I think that it's good for people to talk to people who have lived in these circumstances and and under those regimes, rather than reading them from the books, because very often they ask me on podcasts, they ask me, hey, Angel, if you had to give a piece of advice to the youth today, because they know I'm very sensitive about, raising or teaching entrepreneurship to kids, I always tell them the same thing: develop a critical thinking. Don't take anything by the face value. Because at the end of the day, the history textbooks are always written by the winners. They are always written by the winners. And again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying something which is obvious. Okay, that's just obvious. The wars, the textbooks, the history textbooks, and the books, many books are written by the winners. So that means that there's a whole part of the story.
Yeah, it's missing.
It's missing. But when you go to these countries, and you've been in Serbia, Montenegro, now you're in Albania, right? You can talk to people, and when you talk to older people, and you get to, I'm sure that you've talked to a lot of people. You talk to taxi drivers, you talk to waiters in restaurants and everything. I mean, how rich is that? I mean, how amazing, powerful is that? To have that conversation, and you realize that they are human beings, the same as you and me. They have bills to pay, they have a family that they love, and they will love their country to help them as much as they are able to pay their taxes and everything. So what would you say is been one of the most amazing, epiphanies for you, if I can say it like this? In the last few weeks that you have been traveling in that area.
Yeah, well, it's actually interesting. Along the coast, all the way up, where we're meeting everybody, like you said. And my first question is, how are things here during COVID? What's going on? Are you guys suffering? What's happening in this little town that we're stopping in? And everyone just kind of looks at me, like I say, get the same look. It's like, no, we're okay. We've got lots of visitors from within. We've got people from Italy that come over, Greece that come over. They're not allowed to go into those countries because those countries are closed, but they come out to here because Albania is totally open. And they're just saying, it's not like there's no one suffering financially from that, which is so beautiful to see, right? They've never closed. I mean, they did close in the very beginning for a couple of weeks, but immediately opened up again. And everything's just open and everyone's doing their thing. And like the other thing, Angel, is no one even really wants to talk about COVID. Like, it's so interesting. They're like, it's so done. They're just like, you know what? We're tired. We don't want to talk about it. And no one cares to ask me what's going on. In Canada, where are you from? Why are you even here? They're just like, oh yeah, whatever. We're having a great time. So it's really interesting how, they're not putting any energy into this. So therefore it's not manifesting in their world. It's interesting. Like, yes, there are cases. I don't even know. I don't even look at any of the cases in any of the countries that I'm in or what's going on, but I'm sure there are cases. And I'm sure that there are, quote unquote deaths, but they just don't talk about it. No one's talking about it.
When you said in the beginning of your journey, you said that this friend of yours had already been for 3 weeks in Tanzania. Why Tanzania is the first stop? Because Tanzania, again, I have many different sources of information that I feed my knowledge and my wisdom, if I can say it like this. Since the very beginning, I always go to alternative sources of information. And Tanzania was very famous in the very beginning of this because many reasons. I'm going to say this because I would like you, we haven't talked about this with Judy. So, I mean, she can, and I'm fine if you correct me and you tell me, Angel, you are wrong. But the president of Tanzania, since the very beginning, he was extremely critical about lots of things happening in the world. He didn't really believe everything that was going on. He actually was very, very critical with the World Health Organization. And when he was asked to provide some samples of blood, so those samples could be analyzed by the World Health Organization, he became extremely famous because he actually gave the WHO, he gave them samples of papaya, the fruit.
Yes, the fruit.
And some different birds' blood. Actually, that's
And
what
a goat.
that,
And a goat
and a
sample
goat,
too.
or goat sample too. Okay, so
A goat DNA sample.
perfect. So he gave the WHO samples of these three things, and all three came back positive.
Yes.
And obviously, well, he did it on purpose, obviously, because he didn't believe that, you know, he wasn't convinced that that was exactly what he was being told. And since then, he's been extremely, I mean, he's been offered money. That's what I heard.
Yes.
So and again, we have not spoken with Judy about what her experience was when she was in Tanzania, but he's extremely famous and very powerful, president, that he has stood. If I had to define it, stood strong for his people.
Yes.
Stood strong. Again, it's not against
all
anybody.
First people.
He's standing strong for his people, for his country, no matter what. What were your feelings? What did you see when you went to Tanzania, Judy?
It was so beautiful to see this, and the people really believing in their president. And so what's really crazy is that he keeps saying, the WHO keeps pressuring, we want your numbers, how come you're not giving us tests, how come you're not doing PCR tests, and how come you're not giving us those numbers? And he said, you know what, when you ask me for the numbers for cancer, diabetes, all of the other diseases that are here in this country, then I will give you all of the numbers that you're asking for. But he's had so many questions, and no one is answering why this one seems to be bigger than the others, when the statistics in his mind doesn't seem that way. And so what's crazy, Angel, is that I've had this past week so many people reach out to me because they know I've been in Tanzania. They know I did a video on YouTube about him and about the papaya, and saying how he's been holding strong. So many people texting me saying, hey, Judy, I just saw on the news in Toronto. It was on the news in Toronto that the president has just announced, the president of Tanzania has just announced that he's been hiding cases. And I was like, what are you talking about? So of course we have a friend who we met in Tanzania in the concierge at the one of the hotels, whose mom works with the president. And so texted him, what's going on? He said, no, if you go online and Google these, titles, Tanzania president has been hiding cases. First of all, there's no journalist, there's no name. And that's how they create fake news, when there's no name. So there's no one to say who wrote this. And then that's not what he said. He continues to say, when you ask me for cancer, diabetes, all of the other diseases that are going on in this country, then I will start to give you that information. But right now, he's basically saying, he's telling all of his people to pray, because they're very, very religious. And he's also saying to wash your hands as often as possible. He continues to share that with his people. And that alone has almost eliminated some other disease that was killing so many Tanzanians because they weren't washing their hands and the food was dirty and whatever. So that's almost eliminated this other disease. And it's just been incredible to see this. So, again, it's how could that make the media, that news, when he didn't even say that? It's just, again, you just think about, you really, like you said, you have to just go into your heart. And thankfully, my journey with Cacao, it's all about going into your heart, everything that's happening, all of the stuff that's happening all over the world. A lot of it is manipulation and control. It's happening for a reason, so that it can all be exposed, so that we can finally, build something at a grassroots level that's going to be created from collaboration, from unity, from love, that's for the people, created by the people, for the people. And so we know that this has to happen, right? On one hand, we know that this uncomfortableness has to happen right now. And on the other hand, it's, how do we, at what point do we, hang on and, believe everything that's being shared?
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to have people on, on the field, like seeing it.
Yes.
With your own eyes,
Yes.
listening, hearing everything, listening to everything with your own ears, and again, and you can exactly, share what's happening in these particular countries. In this case, you've been already in Tanzania, you've been in Serbia, you've been in Montenegro, and now in Albania.
Yes.
Have you already decided what's going to be the next step in your journey? Do you know that already, Judy?
Yeah, well, we have a couple countries. We're still unsure which ones they're going to be, but it's either going to be Turkey or it's going to be Costa Rica.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, because Costa Rica is also nice and open. It's beautiful there. And I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard they don't have a military. They've never had a military.
True, exactly.
Talk about like
yes.
beautiful energy. And so many people who I've seen, even Canadians, people that I know who've moved during this whole thing, this sort of continuous, lockdown, the never-ending lockdown. They just kind of moved out and just decided, you know what? Wow, talk about changing your perspective on life. Like even me coming out here, initially I was thinking, well, this is going to be a few weeks travel. It's been, I think I'm now in week 7, maybe week 8, something like that. I don't even know. And it's really opened my eyes to, oh my God, I can just live my life as a modern nomad. Like, why not? Everything I do is online, sharing everything with others. So many of us can do that. In fact, I'm talking to you, whoever you are listening to this right now. Why wouldn't you be able to do that? Question that. What are you doing in your life? If you're doing something that maybe isn't so tied down to something, maybe you could get out and travel as well too. I mean, it's so beautiful. And you know what? So many people are texting me since the beginning of this, saying you have so much courage to be traveling right now. So many people are using that word. And I thought about that for a while, courage. And I thought, well, maybe from where you are, you see it as courage, because the story from what you're hearing is that, it's so scary and, the world is ending. Whereas from my point of view, everything is normal here. The only thing that's different is that some people are wearing masks. Yes, some are, some aren't. And it's maybe not as many people as there would normally be in these places that I'm visiting, but I wouldn't know because it's my first time visiting here. So I'm just having a great time. People are loving us being here. People everywhere, even the airlines, like everyone's so afraid of, oh my God, getting on a plane. It's like, are you kidding me? Almost probably one of the best times to, like, the best service is right now, because they're so excited to have you on board, so excited to take you into different places. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely. It's actually a great point that you're making, because exactly all those countries probably, I mean, the income coming from tourism has dramatically, decreased. So that means obviously they have their share of pain and suffering, obviously, because that affects everybody. But at the same time, they keep on having the same heart. And now, I mean, they probably can give you so much, love and care and attention, right? I mean, you must be feeling that, because you must be feeling
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone's just so excited to, just like, oh my God, there's a tourist. They're like, oh my God, the only 2 tourists in Albania. I mean, that's a joke, but there have been a few jokes about that where it's like, oh my God, have you been here? You've been there? Just, it's so much fun. Exactly. It really is so much fun to be here right now. Why would I want to leave this, especially right now? Why would I want to not do this? It's beautiful. It's and share this with others, because there's so many people who could possibly be coming out here and traveling as well. And if not, then at least realize that, like, there's normalcy. There's like a parallel universe happening over here. And in all of these countries completely, and in other countries, there's so many countries also that have, you need the test to get in, but once you're in, it's like completely open. In fact, many of the countries are already there. So it's like, I think about Toronto and what's going on with my, back home with my family and my friends. And I just think, oh my God, like, this is a completely parallel universe to what's happening out there. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, next week, do you think next week you will be in another country already?
Yes.
When we meet? Okay, wonderful.
Yes,
so
I believe we will.
We're going to leave the audience with a question mark. Okay, we're going to leave this with a click
Where will I be?
Exactly, wherever she will be. And again, next week, for sure, we will not be alone. We will be with someone else from another country. So we'll be able to check on other countries at the same time. There will be people living in those countries. We probably there's more people like you and your friend, courageous enough to go to other. I'm sure that many people have wanted and have decided to move to other places and to even have
Yes.
an itinerary through other countries. I'm sure that you're not the only ones doing it.
Yes.
And by the way, again, you know, we're not here to divide. We are here to just bring you a different perspective, a perspective from the ground, from the battlefield. Okay, if you allow me to say this, use this term. And if you want to, you know, challenge, you know, anything that we're saying, please go ahead. I think that something that we have discovered throughout this past 12 months is that we have to talk and talk and talk more than ever before. All of us have to talk more and have to come into a, you know, common grounds and being able to feel, you know, comfortable with one another. I have consistently been posting about rebuilding the bridges that we have burned throughout the last 12 months. I think we have all lost some, not in the literal, you know, meaning of losing someone dying, but we have lost some friends because of, you know, because we were not in agreement with them, or the other way around. It doesn't matter. We all have lost friends or relatives because of, you know, the polarization that's going on in the world. And we are here to really to help you get together and talk to each other and understand each other and listen. Just listen from your heart, as very well Judy said. Listen from your heart. Listen from your heart, really. Not as much from your mind, but from your heart. What is your heart telling you? What is your heart telling you about everything that's going on in the world right now? Allow yourself to do that. You know, it's magic to do it through, you know, a cacao ceremony, as you very well taught us the other day, and as you explained very well in the beginning. But there's many other ways. I think that the way to your heart, the ways to your heart are infinite. And you probably inside of you, you already know what's the best way to get into your heart. Get into your heart and try to rebuild those bridges that might have been burned. Okay. So what's the best way to reach out to you or to connect with you, Judy?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So my website is goddesstemplecacao.com. Would love to see you there, or even through my through Instagram, which is Goddess Temple Cacao as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. This live streaming is actually, you know, it's going out to, as I said before, 13 different platforms. For 3 or 4 of them are from Judy. The others are from either Expansion Network or from myself personally. And again, it's been a pleasure to be here. As you know, in order to find me, it's very easy. You just can send me an email to Angel, ANGEL, at angelribo.com. Ribo is my last name, and it's spelled like R-I-B as in boy O. So it's angel at angelribo.com. And at the, you know, on the post that goes along with this video that you're watching right now, you will see that there's, you know, there's all the social media outlets of Judy, all my social media outlets, how to reach out to her through email or to me. So it's very easy. It's been a pleasure, Judy, to
oh my God, I want to share my view if I can.
Oh, absolutely.
Just give me 1 second.
Please,
I'm hoping that we can see this. Give me a second to just open up my door here.
What a blessing.
Okay. I'm hoping that you can see. It's a little dark, but maybe, oh, maybe not. Let's see.
Okay, we see some lights. Yeah, we see some lights.
Some lights. Okay. Well, anyway, the beautiful sea is straight ahead. You can't see. And the Greek island is straight there. All those little lights out there.
Yeah.
Those are the Greek. That's one of the Greek
islands.
Really? Corfu. Yeah.
This is Greece? Oh my God.
That's Greece. Yeah.
Very
right.
Nice.
I mean, you can't see. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of little
but you see a light. You see one light there. Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's how
we'll
close
have to
you
do
guys
one of these calls during the day here so that you can see how beautiful everything looks.
That would be very nice. Let's try to schedule it earlier in my day, which is earlier in your day too. If obviously, because we have to be really respectful, because obviously she's exactly, she's you know, on the road. I mean, literally Judy's on the road. I mean, she's, you know, going from one place to another.
Traveling and checking
so
out.
she's literally there all the time. So we have to be respectful about, obviously, you know, your friend and what you do every single day. There's always some logistics behind a trip like this, you know, regardless of where you want to go, there's always some logistics. Anyway, so thank you very much for showing us around also a little bit.
Thank you.
And we'll see each other again next Saturday. It's already March.
Thank you, everyone.
The third month of the year, exactly. Always with your chocolate. Wonderful. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. And
blessings.
Everybody here watching us here on the Expansion Network, thank you very much for being with us today. It's been a pleasure to have you. Again, if you want to reach out to us, you already know how to do it. And we hope to see you again next Saturday with Reality Check on the Planet, traveling the world without fear. In which country next week? We still don't know. Okay, you will know throughout the week. When we post. Exactly. Surprise, surprise. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye, everyone.